Of everything that you learned, it seems that illness comes back to proteins. It comes back to animals. Talk to our viewers about that. Animals and protein.
So that's why I switched careers and I started doing cancer research for my master's and got very interested in proteins. So I did my doctorate on studying proteins structure and functions because every disease comes back to is related to proteins at the end of the day. So I knew if I study proteins really well, then I can apply that knowledge to any field. So I did that. And then after my doctorate, I had a postdoc opportunity at MIT, but instead I decided to go to pharmaceutical companies and lead clinical research to bring all these therapeutics as fast as possible to patients. But I just honestly got really tired of working on the symptoms of these diseases. We were working on antibodies for COVID-19, for influenza, for cancer, for inflammatory diseases. Literally every disease I ever worked on came back to animal consumption in one way or another. 40% of cancers are preventable with lifestyle choices. Right now, we have bird pandemic, a bird flu going on. 60 million birds had to be killed by now. And, you can just keep designing drugs for influenza every single year. Or maybe we get rid of eggs and we won't have bird flu anymore. So I was just really tired of working on the symptoms instead of the root cause. And that's why I want to dedicate the rest of my life to this, because I think it impacts all the animals. It impacts the environment, which includes all of us. And even if my mission was just saving people, I still had to promote veganism because that's where I can have the most impact. When I talk about proteins in involvement in diseases, a lot of genetic diseases. So what it means is if you have a mutation in your DNA, that means that a protein that you're making is gonna not function right. Sometimes a lot of these proteins are produced in large amounts or less amount than is required, and it causes diseases. But other than that, proteins are basically toys made out of Legos. So you have imagine you had 20 pieces of Lego and you build anything that you want. You build toys with it and you do things. So when you eat protein, whether it's coming from plants or animals, your body basically digests all these proteins to the building blocks, which are the amino acids, which are all those. Imagine I had a toy made for myself from Lego, but you want something else. So what I would do is I give you my toy. You just basically break it down to tiny Legos and build your own basically toy with it. So when you eat protein from a cow or from a plant, our body basically digests that to building blocks and you make your own proteins with it.
Okay.
So in that regard, the source of protein really doesn't matter because it's going to get digested. What really matters is the ratio of these amino acids. So the common misconception is that plants don't have complete proteins, which is a bad definition because it kind of suggests that plants don't have enough proteins, which is not true. Even with that bad definition, soy still has complete proteins, meaning that it has all those amino acids with the right ratio. But something to clarify, all plants have all 20 amino acids. All plants have all 20 amino acids. So, and the only way that you would be protein deficient in one of these is if you eat just rice. You eat nothing else, which do you know anyone like that?
Not to my knowledge.
So it's not even practical, right? So there is impossible to just not get enough proteins that way. Something that is important here is that plants have proteins packed with a lot of other things like fibers, with a lot of nutrients, with antioxidants that prevent cancer. Animal source of protein is packed with cholesterol, saturated fat, endotoxins, and basically also the ratio of amino acids in meat or animal-based protein can promote cancer as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically we can just eat plants and be fine.